Liahona, our trailer bull McGregor 25.
It's the boat that taught me how to sail.
She taught us a lot of stuff.
We bought it in the mid-90s.
1998.
Okay. My brother and I had just started an ISP, and I had just gotten off working 2 full-time jobs, and my wife decided that I needed to get a life.
So instead of chartering a sailboat, we bought one. She wasn't very expensive. She's an entry-level sailboat, but boy, she has taken our family all over the place.
Yeah, so we've been to Lake Havasu, Lake Mead, Lake Mojave. Not Havasu, I guess. Lake Mojave, Lake Mead, and Lake Powell.
And Oroville, Pine Flat Lake, Shasta, a lot of lakes. We've also done South San Francisco Bay a couple times.
Done out of Catalina from San Pedro, was it?
San Pedro.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
A lot of San Diego Bay. And this last time we took a trip from San Diego Bay or Mission Bay up to Oxnard via Catalina and the Channel Islands.
And that's where we came to the realization that we've outgrown Liahona. It was kind of beyond her capabilities. Plus, we've always dreamed of retiring to a big boat and sailing away.
And our youngest is now in college, and actually a senior in college, and the rest are all grown up and gone, and it's time for us to make our move.
Finally.
That is where we bought our new boat, La Brisa.
Well, actually, it's happy hour. So let us get a glass of wine, and we'll sit down and tell you about La Brisa and why we bought her in Mexico.
We're back. It's happy hour.
And we're going to tell you more about our boat search. But we were looking for a heavy displacement type cruiser. And a big reason for that is me. As an amputee, I feel like I need a very stable platform, a boat that would be comfortable in a blow, a boat that I could get around on. So part of the criteria was finding a boat whose interior made it easy, that had a lot of handholds. So when I'm on the boat, I don't use my crutches at all. When I'm on deck, I usually scoot along on my bottom. So the heavy displacement cruiser was for me also because I'm kind of a scaredy cat. When we're out on the ocean, I want a boat that will take care of itself.
And that would be the reason we picked the heavy displacement one versus some of the lighter ones or faster ones like a Cat or something. We also wanted to make sure we're both getting a little bit older now, as we do year by year, and we wanted something that should I get injured, she could handle by herself. And yes, ideas of a 40-something boat is nice, the room in it and all, but those sails are a lot heavier. We spent a lot of time looking at the 32-foot west sails.
Yes, we ended up choosing a Baba 35. She was for sale at the right time, in the right place, with the right gear. Lee made a trip.
Made a trip down to San Carlos. I was looking. We had seen other boats for sale, several boats down there that looked like they may be worth looking at. So I called one of the brokers and made arrangements. And so what we did is I drove down to San Diego and took the CBX, the Cross-Border Exchange Express.
Cross-Border Express,
which is just a bridge over the border. Went to the Tijuana airport and flew.
So basically it's a bridge to the airport, to the Tijuana airport from the U.S. side. And the only way you can cross that bridge, in addition to paying for the privilege of crossing it, is if you have an airline ticket.
But in so doing, it made crossing the border so much easier. crossed it, went down to the Tijuana airport, went over to Volaris, flew out of there. A quite nice flight down to Hermosillo. Then from Hermosillo, I rented a car and drove down to San Carlos. Spent a night in a little hotel there. The next day, I walked on down to the marina there and found the broker. She showed me 4 or 5 boats. Some were in the water. Most were on the hard because it is beginning of the summer and the hurricane season, I guess, down there. One of the boats that she showed me was in Guaymas instead of San Carlos, and that's right around on the other side of the bay. So we drove down there. So this one looked like it was promising. Then after seeing the pictures and talking, I guess we made an offer.
We did, and arranged for a surveyor
yes.
and a mechanic to check over the engine.
So we bought it down in Mexico. It's some of the boats we were looking up here were really nice condition, but they needed a lot of cruising equipment. Ones down there seemed to already have a lot of the cruising equipment because they'd been sailed down there, but needed maybe a little bit of TLC or a little bit of care.
Yeah, so the boat we've chosen, she is currently named V'ger, after a spaceship in Star Trek.
One of them.
And obviously we're not big Trekkies, so we decided to name her a name that is representative of her origin, her place where she currently is. It's a Spanish name which means the breeze, La Brisa. So up until we get her Coast Guard documentation, we can't change the name on her hull because the name on the hull has to be the same as what's on the temporary import permit that the Mexican government requires. So our total experience in Mexico buying a boat was great. You always kind of wonder about buying a boat outside the United States, but Marisa, our broker, was fantastic and is still fantastic. When Tropical Storm Newton made its landfall and did all that damage in Guaymas, she went to the boatyard the next day and sent us photos. Sent us an email, the boat's still okay. She is, not only did she sell us the boat, but she is going to be a great resource. She's indicated that we're to call on her whenever we have questions. So it's been a great experience. And right now, it with a temporary import permit in Mexico, basically, it allows a person to bring a boat into Mexico with the promise they will not sell the boat in Mexico. So our actual sale, our transaction was completed here in the United States. The main brokerage office was in Dana Point. Also, all the paperwork was sent to Dana Point. There was a title search done by a company up in Seattle, and they processed our Coast Guard documentation paperwork. So everything was transacted here in the United States. And then when we get our documentation, we'll take it to the Mexican authorities and get our temporary import permit in the name of La Brisa and in our name.
Soon we'll be going down to the boat and do some work on it.
So anyway, we've been kind of going crazy around here, packing, making lists. That is one thing that is difficult about buying a boat a long ways from your current base, and that is the logistics. Especially for us, it's...
We can't go down just for the weekend and work on it and clean up this or clean up that or see what parts we need.
Yeah, and it's not like the boat is 900 miles away from us in the U.S., where there's a West Marine that's easy to get to. we're going to be in a place where marine supplies, parts, and so on are not always available, and if they are, they're at a higher cost than here in the U.S. As we attempt to anticipate our future needs cruising in Mexico, we'll share with you our experiences. Please join us again on our journey and adventure.